Alright, this should be our final cleanup episode. From now on, I'll most likely be able to get everything in one go for each kingdom. So, last of Toast Arena. But it's quite cold.
Woo.
Yeah, that hole from the last episode led to this.
Yeah. So I didn't really. Again, it took me a little bit to think. Oh well, what's down there? The reason why I didn't mind just jumping down is because it's just 10 coins anyway. So you're not afraid to jump and do something stupid because the penalty for death is not. Really
No, I agree, but at the same time, there's really nothing there telling you can go down there either. Compared to, I was playing Shantae and the Pirate's Curse on Switch. Because that just came out, and that has, here's any death pit has the skulls coming out of it. But there's one pit in the sand area that doesn't have skulls telling you, okay, you can do something down there.
I would argue that you should be able to guess it, if only because the plot missions already require you to jump through a hole into an underground area.
But those have, people around there looking down at them and stuff. This is just a random hole.
But that's because that's because those ones are supposed to introduce you to the concept, and then afterward you're supposed to realize, hey, maybe I can jump down this odd hole.
I would argue for checking it out because it's the only hole of its kind in that area.
No, I would just like one little thing that says something.
It doesn't really bother me too much,
there.
again, because
no, it's not the end of the world. It's just one of those. I think maybe you could have done something to hint at it a little bit better.
I don't know. I just think I don't think it really needs more of a hint. But then again, I grew up in the 90s when video game secrets were the most fucking obscure things. So maybe I just think
you have a closet shrine dedicated to Ultima. I think your point is moot.
Hey man, you didn't know on the completely open floor in the Cave to Roan to walk all the way to the bottom left where there will be a pit that leads you to the best sword in the game? No, screw you. Have fun losing to Hargon 6 times.
Okay, you make a joke about that, but
that's not a joke. That's actually where you find the best sword in Dragon Quest.
Oh really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The final dungeon in the game is a large, gigantic labyrinth which is impossible to get through. There's one floor that's completely empty, and there's a pit randomly in the bottom left that leads you to the best sword of the game.
How about this then? To get a plot critical rune in Ultima 4, you have to walk your stupid ass into the blacksmith's furnace and individually check all 5 of the burning hot spaces while taking damage. And that means not just stepping on them, but stepping on them and using the search function.
Video games are great.
Timmy, why are you putting your hand in that hot coal?
There might be stuff in here.
Everything in my furnace.
Now time for actual fishing, instead of sand fishing with birds splatting me in the face. It's in the water.
Ah, fishing. Nature's most boring pastime. It's relaxing. Isn't relaxing just what...
I'd argue golf. But...
Isn't relaxing just a term that grown-ups use to mean boring? Shush.
No, I like fishing, actually.
You see, I don't like it, but that's because I can't stand bugs, is the thing. And if you're fishing, there's going to be bugs. It's just...
That's why God invented insect repellent.
That was on the 8th day after he rested on the 7th.
And on the 2nd day, God created bugs, and he realized that was kind of a dumbass move. So then he invented bug spray.
And after swatting his 15th mosquito, because fuck, these things are everywhere, he made insect repellent.
Okay,
I will say that Lakitu fishing in this game is not great.
No, it's kind of...
But you gotta use that HD rumble.
Thankfully, there's only 2 times.
Something's biting!
Thankfully, you only have to do it 3 times, so it's not that big of a deal.
It's not super de-duper hard. It's just not fun.
It's fishing.
No, okay. What you do in Final Fantasy 15 is fishing. This is praying. This is praying.
Well, it would help if Ryan actually moved to the fish.
Well, I really don't need to get the fish.
I can see why you don't like Animal
Crossing. You also
kind
of have to... It's also kind of one of those things that requires you to have the rumble on to have any chance of doing it, so...
I also don't like Animal Crossing because it's boring to me.
Ryan, no, it's
you don't
it's
like Animal
relaxing.
Crossing
That's what you're supposed to say.
Because it hits you too close to home.
Okay, Ryan, video games are all about power fantasies, all right? Mario makes you think that you're athletic and you can jump all around the place.
boot
God
the
of
game up.
War makes you think that you can take on an army. Animal Crossing fulfills the millennial fantasy of owning a house and having friends. So...
You boot the game up, and you're flabbergasted that your neighbors actually want to engage in conversation with you.
yeah.
You deem it unrealistic, you turn the game off, and never look back.
So what are the other power fantasies? Persona makes you feel like a nerd can turn into a badass. I think Sonic makes you feel like you can have a good game made about you. And
if you believe in wait really long time.
Okay.
Come on, you stupid fish.
And this
Stupid
is why
fish.
Big the Cat was a terrible idea.
Come on.
He's tugging.
There you go. Stupid fish.
Well, Big the Cat wasn't necessarily a terrible idea. It was just very, very badly designed, you know?
It was in the wrong
No, it was
game.
still a terrible idea.
No, because
Well,
Sega, the thing is, here's the thing. The fishing in Sonic Adventure is awful. Like, even just
Yeah.
taking away the... But Sega has no excuse because they made, like, 6 bass fishing games on Dreamcast.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
of which
and,
were
that's-
significantly better.
That's the thing, though. Like, Big the Cat was like some kind of really, really early experiment for the bass fishing games, as I understand it. So it was like their super beta alpha version for those games, and it really feels like one.
It's, you see, fishing in whatever video game it's in is either the best part of the game or the worst part of the game. Because in games like Animal Crossing, it's the best part of the game, but in games like Pokemon or Mario Odyssey or Sonic Adventure, it's easily the worst part of the game. Because everybody loves pulling up the same Magikarp 16 times in a row, don't you know? Well, I mean, somebody does, because somebody caught Phoebus and Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and I feel sorry for whoever did, because that's just sad.
It's very dumb.
The Goombas with the different hats based on what world they're in kind of remind me of the egg pawns in Sonic Colors, where they had level-specific little accessories attached to them.
Yeah, it makes them feel more cute, I guess, is the thing. Where normally they're just a Goomba, and I don't really care too much, but it's always...
Nobody cares about Goombas.
It's just...
Hey, Goomba's lives matters, alright?
It's just neat to see the how they change them up every world, I would say.
So like this, I picture that this female Goomba here is always the same female Goomba, and she's
It
just
is.
traveling around the world hunting down studs, not even looking for a boyfriend, just checking out the guys all over the world. She's that tourist, you know?
We all look exactly the same.
No, that's why the Mario Goomba looks so appealing, because he's got a hat and mustache and different colored eyes.
No, she's like that tourist who goes to France, thinks like Eiffel Tower, but I wonder what the guys are like.
Wow, everybody does actually wear stripy shirts and a beret in Paris. Wow, I thought that was just a stereotype. This one took me a while to figure out, because I didn't think to... Oh! I forgot that it was...
What the fuck?
Oh, it's you. Pushes him back down into the sand.
I couldn't breathe for 3 months!
Captain Toad, how did you know it was me in here?
Because nobody
It
else...
could have just been a bad guy who murdered me and stole my hat. Don't be so trusting.
Yeah, but you would have had extra lives, I suppose.
My hat doesn't. I learned that the hard way.
Slow down. There we go.
So I thought that you had to get him facing the right...
Yes, this is my mother's tombstone. Why'd you bring me here?
It was always annoying how they built a monument to my late father. He was kind of an asshole.
Whee!
The Jaxi does make the open world desert exploration thing kind of worth it.
Yeah, the desert... Well, Tostarino's probably my least favorite kingdom in the game, mostly just because there's so much empty space throughout. Like, the areas that are really good, like the Center Ruins area, and whatnot are still really, really good, but there is a lot of empty space, and the
Yeah,
Jaxie is what makes it fun to.
Yeah,
Without it's not the worst, but it's still.
It's like a microcosm of Metal Gear Solid 5. You know?
I still haven't. Well,
That game had a Jaxie too.
It had a very slow Jaxie that didn't cover nearly enough ground, nearly quickly enough to make up for all that open space. Not just open space, but negative space. Space of negative gameplay. There's nothing to do in it.
Okay.
That's kind of the difference between your Metal Gear Solid 5s and your Witcher 3s, right? Is the
Kind of.
feeling that there's this wide open space that serves no purpose but to slow you down. I didn't know this was here. I learned something today.
Got a Mario 2 USA callback.
Yeah, I know. Weird.
You might think to do that if you'd actually played through Mario 2. I didn't. So this is one of those really small examples of what I was talking about, where they play around with the 2D plus 3D perspective thing.
Oh yeah, that was really cool when you have to use the bullet bills that pop out of the 2D section. Like that was neat. Yeah. Also, I just recently found out that the bullet bills are the bullet bills in Mario in 2D sections. Well, I guess everything in a 2D section is actually a 3D model, which is
I was
bizarre.
about to say I didn't think I found this, but no, I found this.
Yeah, this was one I found as well. And I was surprised when I found something in here because I don't think I had any like directions.
Reason to expect it, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, goddamn if there aren't too many collectibles in this game, but they do have a lot of really cool hiding spots.
Yeah, you see, that's why I never really minded the number, because I felt that at least most of them were really cool, and the ones that weren't were harmless. So
yeah, the thing about it is, for me, that I think this game hits a sweeter spot for me than either Super Mario 64 or Sunshine did, in the sense that there's a stronger platforming game here without sacrificing the exploration and the collectathon elements.
yeah, that's a good point, because
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not knocking Mario 64. It had its strong platforming levels. I really like the clock tower, and any given lead into a Bowser fight was good enough to almost make up for the fact that the Bowser boss fights themselves were made of ass. But
I love
Yeah,
putting all the moons in.
It's just that when I think of a lot of the levels, like Baba Battlefield, for example, I don't necessarily think of Mario 64 in terms of what I do when I'm jumping around things. You know?
Yeah, that's a good point. I do think that the general platforming here is both more frequent and just better than even like the platformer plenty stuff in Sunshine, for example.